Hello.
Sir, I have a question actually.
Yes, tell me.
If I register for the IFRS this month, for diploma in IFRS, is it mandatory to appear in exam coming December?
Register in the sense there are two things. One is registration, one is exam registration. Registration is not pressurizing you that you need to give exam in December only. After registration, you need to fill up the exam form. And once you fill the exam form, then you are bound to give exam in December.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. But registration should be done in advance, should not be delayed. So we will register all of you, whoever need to be registered within maximum 15 days. I don't want to take tension for later. IFRS 17 is still not applicable. Not sir. IFRS 17, 18, 19 is not yet communicated by the institute applicable for a December exam. They are not going to say now. So it will be applicable after 2023. For IFRS 17, 18, 19, whatever I will teach, I will upload free video on YouTube when I will be teaching in the next batch. Don't worry. Free knowledge. Okay? Presently, it is not a part of the syllabus. So, let's start. First of all, IFRS means accounting. So, what do we mean by accounting? Whether it's financial accounting, management accounting, anything. What do we say? What do we understand by accounting? Anybody? Now don't open ChatGPT or Google and start saying. Just
expenses and books, incomes and profits. No.
Okay. Anybody else?
Recording of all financial
expenses or revenue.
In nutshell, can we say that recording of all the transactions, day-to-day transactions, summarizing those transactions in the form of ledgers, trial balance, and then after summarizing, presenting them in a proper format. Proper format means profit and loss account, statement of financial position, balance sheet, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity. Any organization, whether it's a company, whether it's a private, whether it's a public, whether it's a proprietorship, whether it's a charity, any organization are involving into different types of transactions on day-to-day basis. So recording of those transactions, summarizing those transactions in the ledgers, in trial balance, and then presenting them for understanding purpose, for decision-making purpose, to the users of the financial statements, that is in the form of profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and different types of forms are there. That's the purpose of accounting. With this definition, with this saying, we can say that when we look at accounts, financial statement of an organization, we understand the health of the organization. How much revenue they are generating, how much profit they have generated, how much expenditures they are incurring, different types of, then what are the assets of the organization, what are the obligations and the liabilities of the organization. In the cash flow statement, from where the company, organization got the cash flows, we are able to analyze this and we able to judge, we able to understand the health of the organization. Why we need to know the health? If suppose I want to invest invest in shares of a company, Reliance, ITC, any company. There is one way I can look at the market technical charts, prices are going up, down, and based on that I am deciding. That means I am not looking at the fundamentals. But the another way to decide whether to invest in any company shares is by looking at their financials. What is their profit level? What is their revenue level? What are their assets and the liabilities? That way I can normally, if I will say knowing the fundamentals, financials, statement analysis, in the whole world, you can do Google search. Less than 1% know this. Less than 1%. Maybe we all are studying this, but 1% से कम लोग हैं, those who know the accounting or understand accounting. So the question is that we are that 1% person who can do fundamental analysis. And by looking at the financials of the company, we can advise an investor to invest in the company. A prospective investor, whether should be investing in the company, we can advise by looking at the financials. Or somebody has already invested in the company, but whether he should remain invested or he should switch his funds to somewhere else, that also can be done by looking at the financials. If there is a supplier for goods and services to the organization, the supplier is afraid whether they will be getting the money back from the company in time or not. So the supplier need to look at the financials to decide whether they should be offering goods and services on credit to the organization. Customers means you all. You need to look at the Saraf Academy financials to see whether Saraf Academy will be serving you, will be fulfilling your purpose relating to the classes, giving you the material, the resources, whether or not. But nobody has asked me financials. Even though if you ask, I will not give. But I am just saying, okay, customers are also concerned that whether the financial health of the organization is that the customer will be, organization will be supporting the customers. When the company will go for long-term funding, bank loan, debenture, bonds issues, then in that case, the bond holders, the loan providers will look at the financials, whether the company we should be giving the loan or not. If the company go for shares issue, they want to raise long-term funds by issue of shares, then also the shareholder will see the financials of the company. If the company go for a mergers, acquisition, takeover, one company coming together with another, we are taking over, whether that can be taken over or not, whether we have funds that will be done by the financials, whether we should be taking that organization or not. Every job in the world cannot be done without understanding of financial statement. Now this financial statement, one second. Was an urgent call, for that reason, no issue. So what I was saying that this financial statement understanding is very essential for these 1% person, and these 1% will help the entire 100% population of the world to take these decisions. Even though this is understandable to only 1% of the person, but then this financial statement cannot be prepared the way we like. कुछ भी कहीं भी लिख दिए without any format, without any guidelines, no, even the 1% will not be able to understand. Earlier, if you go 20-25 years back, maybe in the before 21st century, then in that case, for every country, there are different laws, regulations to prepare financial statement. At that time, when the organization were doing business in other country, then in that case, they are preparing separate financials. They were preparing. But now, it's global. The business is global. The financial statement preparation norms, guidelines are global. Whether you follow IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, whether you follow Indian accounting, Indian GAAP, Ind AS, whether you follow US GAAP or any other accounting, 95% they all are same. And actually IFRS means Global Accounting Language, Global Accounting Standards, which 130 countries have accepted. That means whatever is written in the IFRS, that the format, the norms, the guidelines for preparation of financial statement. 130 countries have accepted that. Most of them have said the IFRS is their own accounting, is their country's accounting. India is saying that we are not saying IFRS is our accounting. India is saying that we will develop our own. In 2016 they started Ind GAAP, Indian Accounting Standard, Ind AS. But difference between Ind AS and IFRS is minimalistic. That difference is there because we have a different nature of economy. We are at a different leg. We are a developing economy. Many countries are a developed economy. There are some different norms relating to RBI guidelines, insurance and different things. So for that reason, we need to have slightly different accounting rules. But that is very, very less. If somebody knows IFRS, that means if any country, they are having their own rules, maybe US GAAP, maybe Ind AS, 95% they automatically know. So it's a global accounting language which is saying that what should be the format, what should be the presentation. So earlier somebody was asking if do I need to maintain the format. If I will say that I am not able to remember the format, then why I am giving the exam? Question is this. If I don't able to remember ki assets mein pehle non-current assets, under that property, plant, equipment, intangible, then why I am giving exam? So if suppose there are some students in the class and their accounting knowledge is poor in the sense there is no problem. Once we will discuss the format, after the class, you need to practice writing the format on your own, in a Word file or in an Excel, without figures, without any calculation. Format of balance sheet, format of PL account, you should be writing, you should be practicing. Reason being that practical life, you can't understand anything if you don't know the format. But in the exam, if there are any adjustment, I will be discussing so many topics continuously IFRS, then you will not be able to understand anything if you don't remember the format. What is an asset, what is a liability, what is an expense, what is an income, how they are presented, that's basic. We can't say that I don't remember this. तो जिनका भी यहाँ प्रॉब्लम है, उनको ये लिख के प्रैक्टिस 2 दिन करना है. एक दिन फॉर्मेट लिखेंगे, सेकेंड डे अगेन यू विल राइट द फॉर्मेट. दैट्स अ मस्ट फॉर यू. There is no other option for this. You can't do mistakes in writing format. Okay? You need to learn the format, that I will say. So that wherever you are, you will be able to understand based on the format, take decisions. Guide the organization, guide the person relating to their decisions. So format is must, we need to know. Format in India, format in IFRS is same. Format of US GAAP is slightly different. But I am not discussing US GAAP here. बोलेगा सर कर दीजिए सर, आप पजल्ड हो जाएंगे. नहीं, आप अपने आप भी फॉर्मेट उसका देख लेंगे. My YouTube videos are there relating to US GAAP. पहला क्लास फॉर्मेट I am discussing in CIMA, US EPA. You can see that video. But I mean to say that I don't want to make disturb. पहले एक फॉर्मेट समझते हैं, थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर है. In Ind AS and in IFRS, the same format is there. Format for PL account, format for balance sheet, format for cash flow, format for statement of changes in equity, and then the notes to accounts and explanatory notes. What are these 5 things? For a common person in the class, balance sheet means details of assets and liabilities. Balance sheet means details of assets and liabilities. For any common person in the class, what is assets and liability? When I am conducting the class, I am using 1 computer, 2 laptop, 1 camera, displays, this furniture and all that. These are my assets. Why these are assets? These are assets because they will be used in the business activities for many years. I am already using this computer camera for 4-5 years. So these are being used already and they will be used for many years. But there is another asset which we say as short-term assets, current assets. The current assets means, suppose I have in my bank, the bank balance is 5 lakh. Suppose in my cash drawer, the cash balance is 50,000. But today 5 lakh. Somebody is making payment for tuition fees. That cash balance, bank balance will change. The current assets will change daily. It is not essential, but it will regularly change. Non-current asset is not changing for a long time. Non-current. Current means fatafat. Non-current means for a long time. There are two types of assets, any organization in the world. Non-current and current. Non-current assets are those assets. Non-current assets are those assets which will be used in conducting the business activities for at least more than a year. 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And the current assets are those assets which will be changing in the value daily. Plus, minus, inventory, purchase, sale, something, they will be changing daily. Receivables. I am selling goods on credit, then the receivable goes up. Somebody pays money, then the receivable goes down. They will change daily. Non-current assets, current assets. There are two types of assets. Then there are two types of liability. One is owner's liability and one is outsider's liability. In accounting, we say that business and businessman is separate. Saraf Academy and Prakash Saraf is separate. Saraf Academy is a separate artificial person in books of accounts in Income Tax Act. Prakash Saraf is a shareholder of Saraf Academy, nothing else. I have invested my own money in Saraf Academy and by that I have started my company. So I am the shareholder, I am the owner, but for the company I am a liability. The company needs to pay this money, whatever I have given to the company, any time later in future. This is one type of liability. The another liability is outsiders. Somebody has given loan to the company. Somebody has given on credit goods to the company. They are treated as outside liability. Those outside liability is also divided into two parts. One is that liability which is payable within 1 year. And one is that liability which is payable beyond 1 year. The liability which is payable within 1 year is called current liabilities. And the liability which is payable beyond 1 year, they are called non-current liabilities. So in the liability side, broadly there are two heads, which is owner's liability, equity, outsider's liability, which is debt. Debt is divided into two parts, non-current and current liabilities. All the assets in the business, if suppose I have this computer, this laptop, all these are assets. From where I got these assets? Paisa kahan se aaya? From where I got the money? Either from the owner's equity or from the outsiders, that is debt. If I have 1 crore value ka assets, then my liability is also 1 crore. The shareholders, that is equity, the outsiders, that is. The assets is equal to liability. And by using these assets, I am conducting my business activities. That is taking training fees, incurring expenditures. Those are not assets or liability. They are income and expenditures. Those income and expenditures are recorded in profit and loss account to calculate profit or loss during a period, generally in a year. By doing the business activities in a year, what is the profit or loss of the organization? Profit and loss account, balance sheet. The third is cash flow statement. Cash flow statement is when we prepare accounting records. We are recording transactions. We are preparing PL account balance sheet. We are following accrual principle. Accrual principle means if there is an expenditure today, I am not making payment. I will record that expenditure as an expense, but I am not making payment, that is a liability. Cash flow. We are going to record only the cash inflow and outflow. So there is some expenditure I have not paid. In the cash flow, I will not write. Because when something involves a cash flow, then I will record as a cash flow. You will say that why this is required. If suppose in the PL account my profit is 50 lakh, but in the cash and bank I have balance of 5 rupees, how I will run my organization? Maybe in case of loss, I can run. But if the cash money is not there, nothing can be done. So accounting body realized that only looking at the profit is not sufficient. We need to see that how much cash the organization is getting, how much cash they are expending, how much cash they have, that we need to look to know the health of the organization. So that is, one is balance sheet, the second is PL account, third is cash flow statement, the fourth is statement of changes in equity. What is statement of changes in equity? I said equity means owner's money. In Saraf Academy, owner's funds, share capital, retained earnings, share premium, any type of these things. Share capital, money given by the shareholder. Share premium, the shares of Saraf Academy issued to shareholder at greater than the face value. Then whatever profit I have generated in Saraf Academy, that profit need to be given to the shareholder, not yet given. So that is retained earnings. So the shareholders' money into, I don't remember exactly the year, maybe in 2008, 9, 10, when the subprime crisis happened. At that time, there were so many things comes into picture that we need to know that the changes in the owner's funds. Because whatever the window dressing means you are not preparing accounts ethically. Maybe you are following the laws, following the guidelines of IFRS, but you are dressing something, you are presenting something which is actually not the fact. And since account is not science, accounts is, permutation, combination, policies and all that. So window dressing is possible. And that window dressing ultimately will be recorded under equity. So the accounting body of the world decided that there should be a separate statement need to be prepared, a statement of changes in equity, relating to owner's funds, the details of the owner's funds fully. And then when we are preparing PL account, balance sheet, cash flow, statement of changes in equity, the fifth thing is how we have prepared them. Suppose for assets we charge depreciation. We can charge a straight line method. We can charge a reducing balance method. There are different methods of depreciation. That is a policy. Inventory. We can follow inventory by LIFO method, FIFO method. Inventory policy. We have so many different types of events happened during the year. Some loss by theft, some loss by fire, something. Explanatory note on that. Nobody can understand the financial statement accounts if they don't go through the policies and the explanatory notes. A knowledgeable person will not look at PL account balance sheet. They will straight away go into notes to accounts. They will straight away go into policies, what policy, what window dressing they have done. These all 5 things are called components of financial statement. Financial statement includes profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, notes to accounts, and explanatory notes. If you say company wise, then in the company director's report, auditor's report, chairman's speech, all these things are also there. But in accounting language, in IFRS language, we say financial statement includes statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. The language for PL account is this. Statement of financial position means balance sheet. Statement of cash flow. Statement of changes in equity. Notes to accounts and explanatory notes. These are the 5 components which you can see that the format in which the financial statement is presented to the world. And these formats are fixed, whether in IFRS, whether in Indian accounting. You can't change the format. So in practical life, when we do this, then the format is already pasted in the Excel. It is already ready. And based on that format, we do the background working, schedule, annexures and all that. For annexure schedule, there is no format. It's upon you. But these formats are fixed so that it is understandable to everybody. Even to a common man, not knowing accounting, not coming in that 1% population, they can understand. For that reason, this format is fixed. If there is any change in the format, normally it does not change, then it is communicated in advance 2-3 years. But there is no changes in the format happening and it is not going to change. So मैंने यहां पर क्या किया है? I have written the format in simple language, in a basic presentation language here. From where I have taken? From any book. If you write in Google Chat GPT format of financial statement based on IFRS, it will be giving you this. It's not a question of which book, which material. Any book, any material will be giving you the same format. So format of financial statement. Statement of financial position means, just for your understanding, balance sheet. In India, we can say balance sheet. In IFRS, they don't want to use the language balance sheet. They want to use the language financial position. Statement of financial position. The short form in exam, you can use SOFP. And this financial statement means FS. In exam also, we can use these language short abbreviation. Financial statement and statement of financial position. This is recommended format. Recommended means everybody need to follow. Suppose we are preparing this for in the exam 31st March 2023 or maybe 30th June 2023. There is no rule as per IFRS that the year ending should be this date. Nothing like that. In India, the company law says that we should be following financial year March ending. Income tax says that we need to have March ending. But company law says that you can have any year ending. So I'm not going into law. I'm just saying that it can be any year ending for the year ending. Money I mean to say as at this. Why it is as at, not for the year? Because if today the asset value is this, tomorrow it will be different. So whenever we prepare a statement of financial position balance sheet, we write as on 31st March 2019, the statement of financial position. Non-current assets, first heading. Under assets, first of all assets. Under assets, non-current assets. What are non-current? As I said, which will be used in the business for more than a year. Property, plant, equipment, machinery, anything which is going to be used in the business for more than a year, they are called non-current assets. In which there is tangible assets called property, plant and equipment. Intangible assets, intangible and investments. Example, whatever I can see in front of my eyes, computer, laptop, camera, furniture, property, all are property, plant and equipment. Property means land and building. Plant means plant and machinery. Equipment means furniture, equipment, computer, laptop, all these things. All are tangible assets. Intangible, you can see in the class there is a logo. There is a logo on the top written as R registered. This type of logo, color matching and all that, nobody else in the world can do. They are not allowed. So this is my intangible asset. There is an organization, suppose I will say Pepsi. The way, the method that which they are producing the Pepsi, that method value is called an intangible asset. Suppose somebody is a member of Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange. The membership value is around 6 to 7 crore. That is an intangible asset. Why they are intangible asset? Intangible asset may be written on a paper, maybe in a CD or a pen drive. That doesn't mean that they are physical existence. You can't touch it, you can't throw it and all that. They are just on a sheet of paper. As a right that you are the owner of these assets. So those are called intangible assets. Patent, trademark, copyrights, technical know-how, how to produce something, brand, goodwill, all these are intangible assets. They are going to be used in the business for many years. They are also non-current. Investments. Suppose I have invested in Reliance Industries shares and I want to hold this for 4 or 5 years. That investment is also a non-current. Why? Because I am going to hold it for 5 years, greater than 1 year. Non-current means those assets which are going to be there with the organization for more than a year. Under investment, it is not only shares, debentures, bonds, government securities, anything. Any investment having in organization is having, and the organization is going to hold it for a number of years, then they are treated as non-current assets. If I am purchasing Reliance shares and I am going to sell within 1 month, it will be coming under current assets. There will be investment here. You will say, sir, not written. You will write a separate heading, investment, under current assets. Inventory, receivable, cash and bank are the major current assets which is there in every organization. But other than this, there can be many current assets. Suppose I have given advance salary to my employees. They will be adjusting the advance salary in next 2 months. It's a current assets because it is going to be adjusted in 2 months. All the assets are categorized into 2 broader headings, non-current, current. Non-current में पहले tangible, intangible investment, and current के अंदर inventory, receivable and cash. IFRS is saying that when you are recording the assets, you need to record the assets most illiquid first and which are very liquid should be last. Liquid means what? Which can be easily converted into cash. तो cash और bank तो liquid ही है, cash ही है. Trade receivable, you can ask them money. Inventory, first of all sold, then it will become receivable, then money. So current assets are liquid, but the liquidity which is highest liquidity is at the end. And in the non-current assets, property, plant, equipment is illiquid. Intangible is more liquid, and investment is even more liquid. They are non-current, but they are written in the order of non-liquidity. In US GAAP, it is just written inverse. You will write first of all liquid assets, then illiquid. You will write first of all current assets, then non-current. You will write first of all under current asset, cash, trade receivable, inventory, ulta, reverse, reverse. Just for the sake, there is no requirement in the exam to understand US GAAP. But बोल रहा हूं तो एक बार बता दिया. अब somebody was asking in the beginning, is there a rule that we need to remember the format? I am thinking that why you don't remember this format, sir? You have to remember, otherwise we can't say that we are IFRS certified. तो एग्जाम में रॉन्ग होने का, एग्जाम में जब क्वेश्चन आएगा बैलेंस शीट बनाने का, we will first of all write the format. And format तो I have copy pasted already here. मैंने तो फॉर्मेट यहां कॉपी पेस्ट ऑलरेडी कर दिया था ना. कौन सा वाला क्वेश्चन में किया था? आपको गलत होएगा कैसे, मैं ये नहीं समझ पा रहा. आप सोचिए, मैंने तो यहां पर फॉर्मेट नॉन करेंट प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट ऑलरेडी रिटन. यू अंडरस्टैंड? सो हाउ कैन यू से दैट इफ आई विल मेक रॉन्ग फॉर्मेट? यू आर डूइंग कॉपी पेस्ट सर. इफ यू राइट देन द चांसेस ऑफ रॉन्ग फॉर्मेट. ये तो आप सीधा ही लिखोगे. ये फिगर्स रॉन्ग हो सकता है, प्लस माइनस गलत कर रहे हैं आप. लेकिन फिर भी when the class is over, please, it's a request. Those who don't know the format, practice in writing without any figures the format. फॉर्मेट को लिख के प्रैक्टिस करना जरूरी है. बाद में 2 क्लास बाद आप बोलेंगे कि आई डोंट रिमेंबर, देन दैट्स नॉट डन सर. यू हैव टू डू. This is balance sheet statement of financial position assets. Then the liabilities. Under liability, equity and liabilities. Equity is owner's liability. Liability is outsider liability. Under equity, share capital, retained earning, share premium, any other shareholder's money. Under liability, there is 2 parts. Non-current, current. Non-current, which is illiquid, payable after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and current liability is liquid. So under non-current, loan notes, lease liability, deferred taxation. Now you will say, what is lease, what is deferred? धीरे धीरे आएंगे sir. Cannot be taught in 2 minutes. In simple, I can say, suppose I have taken this property on lease and the lease is 50 years. So I am not the owner. I am the lessee. And I will be paying lease rent against using this property. So whatever lease rent I am going to pay in 50 years, that is a lease liability. Deferred tax. If I am going to pay tax to the government after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, then it is deferred tax. But in deferred tax, I am not able to say beyond this, because it's a separate topic which will be taking 2 classes, 3, 6 hours. Even lease also will take 3 + 1, 4 hours approx. Current liabilities, Trade and other receivables. I am purchasing goods and services, electricity, raw material, anything. I need to pay them. I have not yet paid. That is a current liability. Taxation which is payable within 1 year. Lease liability which is payable within 1 year. All those liability which is payable within 1 year is current. All those liability payable beyond 1 year non-current. And the shareholders' money. This total of the liability will be equal to total of the asset. If it is not there, some mistake has been done. How you got the assets if they are not supported by liability? Maybe by owners, but paisa to kahin se aaya na. If I purchase this computer, there is money received from somewhere. So whatever money received from anywhere, that's a liability, and then it becomes assets. That is called statement of financial position, SOFP, as at 31st December, 31st March, whatever. ये rule है, उसका format है. Then comes statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. You can say PL account. But I have not said anything relating to other comprehensive. I will be saying in short. Statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. But it is written for the year ended. It is written for the year ended. And for the balance sheet we are saying as at. As at. Matlab it is on a particular date, but PL account for the period, for the year ended. It is showing the entire story for the year. It is not as on. It is the history of the entire year, because generally we prepare income statement in 1 year. So that they are saying that revenue minus cost of sale. In my case, revenue means tuition fees. That is my revenue. Cost of sale means to teach all of you internet, electricity, power, all these are cost of sale. Even the staff salary also. Because I cannot generate revenue without incurring these expenditures. So revenue minus cost of sale is called gross profit. Now distribution and administration. Distribution administration in my case is less, but say what are the expenditure coming under distribution and administration. First of all, administration. Suppose there is an auditor who is doing the auditing, preparing the accounts in our organization. Then there is, you can say, a center in charge. That center in charge is controlling the entire administrative part in the organization. So that is administration expenses. Distribution, to provide the goods and services to the customer, to deliver the goods and services. The expenditure incurred is called distribution. In my case, I can say, suppose I am doing Google ad so that the student will be joining my classes. So the Google ad is selling and distribution. Or maybe suppose there is a counselor in our organization, and I am telling to the counselor, if the student will be joining through your counseling, I will be giving you some commission on per student. Then that is also called selling and distribution. These are all selling. Distribution मेरे केस में है नहीं भाई, कोई कहीं पहुंचाना तो है नहीं, कोई किताब नहीं है, कोई बुक्स नहीं है, कहीं पर डिलीवरी नहीं देना है. So I have selling expenditures, but I don't have distribution. Why we need to categorize the expenditure like this? If we don't categorize, then to see na profit is this. How we will understand where the organization expenditures are going, whether they are reducing, where they, how we will analyze, how we will take our call, how we will analyze whether we should be taking decisions about the organization or not. So thoda to breakup dena. These are fixed format. You can't write distribution earlier, gross, ulta pulta nahi likh sakte. Rule hai ye. Format hai ye. Revenue minus cost of sale, gross profit minus admin distribution, profit from operations. मतलब सराफ एकेडमी ने बिजनेस करके इतना कमाया. Now Saraf Academy has taken loan, सच्ची में loan taken from ICICI Bank, and we are paying EMI every month. So whatever the interest we are paying, that is not my operations. That is not operational expenditure. That is a financial expenditures, finance cost. और अगर सराफ एकेडमी surplus money invested in share market, bank FD, getting interest, dividend and all that, that is investment income. That is not my business. That is not my training classes. That is not my business. Suppose I have surplus money invested in property, let it out and getting rental income. That is also investment income. My business is not letting property. The profit from operation means business income, and then finance cost and interest income or any other income, you will be getting profit before tax. From that you will deduct tax expenditures. After deducting tax expenditures, we will say profit for the year. After deducting income tax expenses, we will be saying profit for the year. From the profit for the year, we will be deducting other comprehensive income or adding other comprehensive income. What is that? One example is written revaluation gain. This property, where I am taking the classes, this property I acquired around 12-13 years back. But the property value is at least 3 times the price at which I purchased this, 3 times. Suppose I purchased this property for 1 crore. So I am recording in the books, in the balance sheet, property 1 crore. But the value of this property is 3 crore. So there is 2 crore gain, increase. But whether I am getting this gain, I am selling this property where I will teach, where I will stay. I am not selling. But the property value has gone up. If you want to record 3 crore in books, you can. In the balance sheet, you will record property, plant and equipment in place of 1 crore, 3 crore. And that 2 crore, 1 crore to 3 crore, 2 crore increase, you will write here. This other comprehensive income is not a realized gain. I am saying wrong because I should not be using the word realized or not realized, but for the time being, for understanding purpose. The property I am recording 1 crore to 3 crore, 2 crore extra, that is my revaluation gain. But this gain is not the profit from which I can pay dividend. This gain is not the income from which I can do anything, because it is just increase in the value which I am not getting. But why I want to record in the balance sheet the 3 crore? Why? Why I want to record 3 crore? The reason is only one, that if somebody look at my balance sheet and they are looking the assets value is 1 crore, then they will think that Prakash don't have so much assets. The Saraf Academy financials are not good. But if I will show 3 crore, then they will think, oh. So to show correct picture, we should be recording the assets value at current values, at fair values. But then that gain we are not going to get. I am not going to sell my property, because how I will do business? So the accounting body said that, ki bhai, in PL account you make 2 portions. One is PL account, which is the gain which you have received, which you are getting. And one is the gain which you are not getting, which you have not received, but you want to record. That is called other comprehensive income. There are many items in this. Other than other comprehensive revaluation gain, other than revaluation, many items are there. But we say that this revaluation gain cannot be given as dividend, cannot be used for meeting expenditures. मेरे को थोड़ी ना पैसा मिला है. I have not received any money. There is no cash received. So I cannot use this for doing my business expenditures and all that. But I want to record to show the fair value to the world, that the Saraf Academy has assets of 3 crore, not 1 crore. So I am recording this. This the accounting body started, I don't remember in which year, around 2010. बोलिए निगम जी. स्टॉक के केस में करना तो अनिवार्य है. प्रॉपर्टी के केस में तो आप हाँ तो घटेगा तो गिराइए. स्टॉक तो हम लोग वैसे भी सेल ही करेंगे ना, मान लीजिए 2 साल में ही करें, लेकिन प्रॉपर्टी तो हम कभी सेल नहीं करेंगे. समझिए, आप एक प्रॉपर्टी है दूसरी और खरीदोगे, बिजनेस बढ़ाओगे, यू विल बी डूइंग दिस. सो यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू सेल प्रॉपर्टी, बट शेयर्स, डिवेंचर, बॉन्ड्स, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज, you have invested to sell it when you get your price. तो उसका वैल्यूएशन का जो चेंज होगा वो दिखाना अनिवार्य है, जरूरी है. It's a must. We need to record the changes in the investment securities value. Must. But that will also be coming here only. Because if suppose you have invested in Reliance Industries shares for 5 years, You will say that, sir, if I will sell early, आपका intention तो है ना, you have the intention to hold it for 5 years. So during the year, if there is any gain or loss, which you can say that you have not suffered because you have not sold, but you need to record here only, under other comprehensive income only. You can't record in profit for the year because you have not sold the shares. You don't have intention to sell it in short term period. So they will be coming as a part of other comprehensive income only. What do you think, whether we should be recording this or not? मान लीजिए अकाउंटिंग बॉडी को भूल जाते, because in that case you are not showing your correct worth to the world. मेरे पास कोई एसेट्स है, रिलायंस का शेयर,
लेकिन सर जो रिकॉर्ड करेंगे उसमें ना हमको जो उसमें टैक्स होगा उसको हटा के करना चाहिए, तभी वो पिक्चर दिखाएगा, अदरवाइज एक
क्वेश्चन ये है, अकाउंट्स इज डिफरेंट, टैक्स इज डिफरेंट, टोटली डिफरेंट लॉ, इनकम टैक्स एक्ट अलग है. इसके ऊपर इनकम टैक्स इज नॉट टेकिंग एनी टैक्सेशन. आई एम रिकॉर्डिंग इन द बुक्स 1 crore to 3 crore प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यू. इनकम टैक्स इज नॉट चार्जिंग टैक्स ऑन 2 crore. तब तो हम कभी नहीं करेंगे यार, पैसा कहां से देंगे हम. So we are not discussing taxation part at all. It's pure accounting. Taxation is totally different. तो आपको अलग से दिखाने का नहीं, लिखना ही नहीं है, टैक्स होता ही नहीं है. There is no taxation on revaluation part.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, this is called as NRE.
NRE?
NRE.
Net realizable value.
That is same called as NRE, right?
You can say, but I will not say 100% because NRV, net realizable value, we use for inventory. We don't use for assets, property, shares and all that. It is not necessarily NRV. Reason being that, suppose this is a computer, I am taking the class. At what price I will be able to sell this computer? I don't know, sir. Because there is no price exactly for second-hand computer. Maybe there is a second-hand car, there is a NRV in the market. But for different types of assets, what is the NRV? It's very difficult to say. So that's another area, how you will be finding out the proper value of these assets, which you can say that the fair value. For property, we can say whatever value recorded in the municipal records, like Kolkata Municipal Corporation, in that this locality, what value they are showing. Maybe in the market, what values are running, what the recent transactions happened in this locality. That way the valuation need to be done. So that's again another area. It's not necessarily NRV.
Okay, that's what related to inventory, right?
Yeah. That is more and more relating to inventory. For assets, we can use NRV, but major principle we use for assets, by using these assets, what is the cash flow I am going to earn? And those cash flows, present value is called the fair value of assets. Normally the people do like that, not the NRV. And that valuation you and me cannot done. That valuation need to be done by a certified valuer. Those have been given authority by the government to value different types of assets. They will be giving you the certificate, and that certificate you will be using to record the revalued figure in the books.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
This, as you said, this revaluation gain is not realized gain. But if you increase capital in the segment of financial position, like in the banking sector, as I am working in the banking sector, when there is an increase in capital, you can do expenditure also.
I am 100% not getting, but what I got, I am explaining. You are saying that suppose you are working in bank. What is the job of bank? To let funds, suppose me, you, our type of business are taking funds from banks. So that funds which the bank is giving as a loan, then the client is purchasing assets out of that fund. But in the books of bank, it is loan, which we say advances. If you say that the bank is investing surplus money in the property, suppose bank has surplus money, they are purchasing some properties, then in that case, that is investment property. That is not used in the business, but that is in, if you say that there is a bank branch and that is in a building, that building is a property, plant and equipment for the bank. But if the bank has invested surplus money in a property for capital appreciation and all that, then that is an investment. That investment will be same as the share market investment or any investment. When you are purchasing assets to be used in the business activity, then in that case, those assets are called as non-current assets, property, plant, equipment, or intangible assets. But if you have invested in the assets not for business, not for doing business, as an investment property, as a shares, debenture, bonds, then they are written as investments. For investment, fair valuation is must. So if a bank has invested in property, then the fair valuation is a must. It is not an optional. But then the fair valuation gain or loss will be coming in PL account or will be coming in other comprehensive income. That's a question mark. There the accounting body is saying that it will be coming in PL account here. It will not be coming other comprehensive. Why? Because when the bank has invested in property, investment property, obviously the bank will sell the property maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. So it is for saleable purpose. Then the gain or loss is recorded under PL account. It is a part of profit for the year. It is not other comprehensive income. So if you are working...
My question is this revaluation gain will go to, under capital account, revaluation surplus. And also it will increase the capital in balance sheet.
It will not increase the capital. It will be recorded as separately here under equity revaluation reserve. Like that. Share capital will remain same. Retained earning will remain same. Other components of equity will have this. What is retained earning? Retained earning is a cumulative profit of all the years. Suppose in 1 year, the profit for the year, this profit for the year is say 1 lakh. Next year again there is 1.5 lakh. So retained earning in the balance sheet will be 1 plus 1.5, 2.5. Retained earning means cumulative profit of all the years, but not this other comprehensive. Other comprehensive will not be a part of retained earning. It will be recorded separately in the balance sheet. It is a part of equity, but it is not share capital. It is not retained earnings. It is a separate component of equity, which we say as other components of equity. Mr. Sajit, are you getting? Hello, Mr. Sajit. Relating to this other comprehensive, there are many topics. One is financial instruments, one is non-current assets. When we discuss revaluation, then we will be doing topic relating to employee benefits. We will be doing topic relating to share-based payments. In every topic, there will be something coming relating to other comprehensive income. So where they will be coming, I will be detailing them. Here too I have just given a simple example, revaluation gain. But there are many items which comes under other comprehensive income, which are not part of the realized income or profit for the year. Profit for the year becomes retained earnings. But other comprehensive income is not retained earning. They are written in the same name. In the balance sheet under equity, they are written as revaluation reserve or whatever things are there. Sijit, are you getting what is retained earning others also? Then comes the third format, statement of changes in equity. Under statement of changes in equity, what I said, what we will record? We are actually showing the entire breakup of shareholders' money, equity money. These figures, share capital, retained earning, other components, their breakup, that is whatever the changes during the year and all that, that is written under statement of changes in equity. When this is launched, I don't remember exact year, around 2010. Because when the subprime crisis arises and the people did so much window dressing and they were not showing what adjustment done in the equity, Then the accounting body said that nowadays, now you need to prepare separately statement of changes in equity. You can see share capital, share premium, revaluation. This is not exhaustive list. If there are other items relating to equity, they will be coming. Their opening balance at the beginning of the year. Then during the year, the profit earned. Somebody was asking retained earning. So the retained earning of last year and the current year profit for the year. What is the current year profit for the year? That is other comprehensive income ke pehle, this part. So whatever the accumulated profit of last year was the retained earnings, then the current year profit becomes the total retained earning. Then the total comprehensive income. Why it is showing here and here, I am not in a position to discuss this. Because when we discuss non-current assets, then I will discuss this part. Then there is during the year some issue of shares, we got the premium, there is some dividend payment to shareholders. Dividend is not an expense. Dividend is given to the owners. That is appropriation of profit. So deducted from retained earnings. If there is any transfer of one reserve to another reserve and all that, this whole detail and then the final figure we will be recording in the balance sheet. Share capital, premium, revaluation, retained, we will record in the balance sheet. So by looking at this, we will be able to analyze what are the window dressing done relating to equity part. Because ultimately any window dressing will affect profit, loss, income and all that. So when you prepare this separately, we will be able to understand loopholes and everything fadafat. So earlier I remember when I did CA and all that, those who were knowledgeable, they were looking at the notes to accounts to see the window dressing. But nowadays the window dressing can be seen easily from the statement of changes in equity. Because it is mandatory. Whether it's a Saraf Academy, small company, big company, Reliance, all need to prepare a statement of changes in equity separately. I have not given here format of cash flow. Reason is only one, jab cash flow padenge, at that time only we will discuss the format of cash flow. I have not given here the policies and the, what do you say, estimates and all that. There is no limit for them. Every day when we will study policies, estimates and all that. That is C. There is no limit. So every topic will involve the disclosures, the notes, the explanatory notes, the policies and all that. That cannot be covered in 1 page or 2 page. Every IFRS, every accounting norm will be explaining those things. So that cannot be covered here. For the time being, we need to have good understanding that ये format fixed है. Ind AS का भी यही format है. Ind AS, Indian Accounting Standards, Ind GAAP and IFRS. IFRS is Global Accounting International Financial Reporting Standards. Ind AS is for bigger companies in India, those which are listed having a turnover beyond a limit. And Indian GAAP is the old accounting in India, which is applicable for Saraf Academy and small organizations. For individuals, proprietors, partnership, small organizations are following Ind GAAP. Bigger organizations in India need to follow Ind AS, and globally organizations are following IFRS. But in all the cases, the format is same. There is no change in the format in Ind AS, in Ind GAAP and in IFRS. The format for not for profit oriented organization is slightly different than profit oriented. Saraf Academy is a profit oriented organization. ACCA Institute is what? CIMA Institute is what? Profit oriented or not for profit oriented? What do you know?
NPO.
Not for profit.
But they are charging so much fees and all that. So how come they become NPO? How come? Not a question of service, sir. The question is that the prime motive of any not-for-profit oriented organization is not to generate income. Okay. But then their objective is not to generate income. Then why they are charging learning partner fees, student registration fees and all that? Why they are charging? When they are...
This is not charity,
This is not charity. Then how come you define a not-for-profit? Not-for-profit is not charity. What do you say, sir?
Objective is to provide the education to the society. So because of that, we treat like.
Actually, I mean to say, we need all to understand that if there is an organization, club, society, building society, any trust, or these institutes, CIMA, ACCA, CIMA, all these institutes, if we talk about them, then they are not for profit, but still they are charging the fees and all that. There are two types of organization. One is the charity run by government. Suppose there is a government hospital that is not charging anything from the patients. They are getting the grants, they are getting the money from government. So there is no income possible at all. The grant from the government is fixed, that the government will be giving this much money. But this ACCA, CIMA, Indian CA Institute and all that, they are not for profit, but they are not getting so much grant. They are getting some small amount from government. They need to run there, so they have staff, they have the faculties, they have the administrative staff, building property, computer, software, everything they have. And the staff, those who are working there, they want salary. Whatever the assets they have acquired that require expenditure, making the papers and all that. And what you all want, that after doing IFRS, after doing ACCA, CIMA, you will be getting better opportunities, better earning potential. You want na? So they need to connect with the employers. They need to tell them what is included in the curriculum, how the person who is ACCA, CIMA qualified can help them. Then the requirement comes and then you get the opportunities. So for that, there is an expenditure involved. And now if you want that the CIMA, ACCA institute should be growing, then the person who are working there, they should be very knowledgeable. They should be able to convince the corporates of different levels, fortune companies in India, big corporates everywhere. They should be able to communicate with them very effectively that why ACCA qualified is a fantastic person for your organization. That type of person will not be working for less salary. They want a very good amount of salary. They want bonus, incentive. तो अगर आपको बढ़िया रिसोर्स रखना है, पैसे charity, you can do charity when the money is there. When there is no money, you can't do any charity. So वो लोग ये जो पैसा आपसे, मेरे से, सबसे ले रहे हैं, CA इंस्टीट्यूट पैसा लेता है, एग्जाम फीस लेता है, सभी लेता है यार. So when they are taking money, they are expending the entire money for our betterment. In ACCA, there is no shareholder. It's not a company. In ACCA, there is no shareholder. The objective of ACCA Institute, CIMA Institute or any Indian recognized institute is what? Economy, efficiency and effectiveness. ये क्या होता है? Economy means, like if suppose you are traveling by air, there is economy class, there is business class. You can get the difference. So these organizations, ACCA or any not-for-profit organization, whatever resources they have, they need to arrange these resources at the lowest cost. If they are economical, they are doing good. Efficiency. If suppose ACCA or CIMA has 100 staff and they are serving 7 lakh students all over the world, students and members, so 100 staff are serving 7 lakh. If the lesser staff are serving more and more, that is called efficiency. With the lesser resources, maximum outcome. And effectiveness. Effectiveness means whether the ACCA, CIMA qualified are getting opportunities, are getting the job enrichment, are getting the better responsibilities, are getting valued in the market. Because अगर वो नहीं कर सकते तो economy और efficiency का फायदा क्या है? What is the purpose of just bringing economy and efficiency if the effectiveness is not there? So in case of not-for-profit oriented organization, the objective is economy, efficiency, effectiveness. But in a profit organization like Saraf Academy, profit ज़्यादा मतलब अच्छा. Simple बात. वैसे मेरे को ऐसा लगता है, if my profit is more, that means students are joining more. Why the students are joining? Because they are getting the quality classes, they are understanding the concepts, they are getting growth in life. So ultimately you can correlate profit with charity, but that directly not related. In a profit oriented organization, shareholders wealth maximization is the prime objective. Shareholders wealth, share value up, dividend jada. But in a not for profit oriented organization, the objective is economy, efficiency, effectiveness. Economy, lower cost resources. Efficiency is with the least resources, maximum outcome. And effectiveness is the best quality of outcome. केवल इकोनॉमी और इफिशियंसी लाने से नहीं होएगा, इफेक्टिवनेस भी लाना होएगा. We are not going to study anything relating to not for profit oriented organization other than this in accounting IFRS. You will say why? जो not for profit oriented organization उसका country specific rules बहुत ज्यादा है. They are not global rules. यूएस का अलग है, यूके अलग है, इंडिया अलग है, सब अलग है. तो यहां का फिर गवर्नमेंट अकाउंटिंग, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, इंश्योरेंस, ये सब पढ़ना होएगा, जो कि इंडियन कोर्सेस में होता है. ग्लोबल आईएफआरएस में उसका कोई आईएफआरएस नहीं है. इंश्योरेंस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रेवेन्यू वगैरह आया है, बट वो लीगल लोकल लेवल पे बहुत अलग है. सो इट इज जस्ट अ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि द वे the objective of a not for profit oriented organization is different than a profit oriented organization. इसीलिए उसका अकाउंट्स, प्रेजेंटेशन, फॉर्मेट वगैरह सब अलग होता है. इंडिया में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंपनी, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी, बैंकिंग, सबका फाइनेंशियल्स अलग है. उसको आईएफआरएस फॉलो नहीं करता, एएस या इंड गैप फॉलो नहीं करता, उसका अपना रूल है. सो दैट इज नॉट कवर्ड इन आईएफआरएस. आप बोलेंगे सर वो भी पढ़ना है. सर अगर पढ़ना है तो फिर आपको गूगल सर्च करके बैंकिंग का, आरबीआई का नॉर्म्स के बेसिस पे फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट कैसे बनता है, उसमें डिपॉजिट्स होगा, एडवांसेस होगा, लोन होगा, अलग चीज होएगा ना. आई स्टडीड दैट इन सीए इंटर, नॉट इन फाइनल, बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट देयर इन सीए फाइनल सिलेबस. बट अभी कुछ ध्यान नहीं है. दैट इज वेरी मच कंट्री स्पेसिफिक. सो नाउ समबडी सेड दैट आई एम वर्किंग इन बैंक. Common sense, you can say that working in bank, investment property, greater loss gain will be going in PL account, not in other comprehensive income. But very hard and fast rules relating to banking, insurance, or any not-for-profit oriented activity, hospital, educational institution, universities, this, that, there are country-specific rules. We are not going to study in our syllabus here. मेरे को उतना ध्यान भी नहीं है, मेरे को भी उसके लिए स्टडी करना पड़ेगा. That's a totally different line. Okay, but we are saying that there is a difference between the two. We are talking about profit oriented organization in our curriculum and syllabus. Accountability. In a profit oriented organization, the accountable are the shareholders and the directors. They are the karta dharta. Shareholders are appointing the directors are doing all the business decisions. In Saraf Academy, Prakash Saraf is the shareholder, Prakash Saraf and Vidisha Saraf is the director. So in my case, shareholder and director is not different, but most of the companies that is the case. But in case of ACCA Institute, suppose ACCA president, suppose ACCA India head or CIMA India, वो लोग, उन लोग को अपॉइंट कौन किया? हमें लोग, जो लोग ACCA क्वालिफाइड है, जो लोग CIMA मेंबर्स है, वोटिंग होता है, वो लोग अपॉइंट करते हैं. They are the control, the accountability is of the government, the trustees and the public. If it is a government hospital and all that, the government is accountable. The source of finance. For Saraf Academy, the money is coming from shareholders, from the loan, from banks and all that. But in case of charity, not for profit oriented organization, like CA Institute in India, getting land, getting donations from government. So not for profit oriented organization getting donations, getting subsidies, and these types of educational institute, ACCA, CIMA and all that, are getting money from learning partners and the students also, students, members, कि भाई इंस्टीट्यूट को चलाने के लिए पैसे चाहिए, आप लोग वो पैसे दीजिए. But we are not becoming shareholder or other thing. So that's difference is there in the thought process, in the management and everything, in a profit or not profit oriented organization. Not for profit oriented organization are not there in IFRS. Those are country specific rules. इंडिया का रूल अलग है, सबका अलग अलग है. जस्ट यहां पर एक कवर किया गया है कि वी आर टॉकिंग ओनली अबाउट प्रॉफिट ओरिएंटेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन आवर इंटायर करिकुलम, not the not for profit oriented organization. So receipts and payments, income and expenditures, Balance sheet of a not-for-profit oriented organization we have not discussed. That is for a different country, different rules are there. That is not a part of the discussion in our case. This is not a topic. This is not a part of the syllabus directly. But without this, we can't start our discussion. जब एक बार फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट का फॉर्मेट ही नहीं मालूम है तो हम लोग क्या सीखेंगे, कुछ नहीं समझ पाएंगे ना. So those who have good understanding of this, maybe it's not so much knowledge for them, but those who have lack of understanding in this, ये इतना बेसिक्स जरूरी था कुछ स्टार्ट करने के पहले. Now, before proceeding further, some general discussion further. Suppose in a company, one of the director who is a very major person in the company died. What will be the accounting for that of a director in the company? What will be the accounting for death of a director in the company? Or maybe any senior person, CEO, CFO died, maybe not a director. तो उसका क्या अकाउंटिंग करेंगे, क्या करेंगे उसमें? Anybody?
It's not including any accounting.
Why, sir?
So, the person is a CEO and but director whatever, but it's different from the accounting. So accounting is a language, it's artificial. So it's not related actually. So
अच्छा,
ठीक
है. If we say that, what is the most important asset in any organization? Which is the most important asset? According to me, human beings. क्या निगम जी, आप हैं तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चल रहा है, आप हो गए नहीं तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैसे चलेगा यार. लेकिन फिर भी हम लोग बैलेंस शीट में कहीं नहीं है, एसेट्स में नॉन करंट में नहीं है, करंट में नहीं है. जबकि चाहे डायरेक्टर्स है, मैनेजर्स है, स्टाफ है, वो उस कितना भी आईटी आ जाए, कंप्यूटर आ जाए, मशीन आ जाए, एनीथिंग कम्स, बट विदाउट ह्यूमन बींग्स नथिंग कैन रन. बट दैट इज नॉट एन एसेट इन द बैलेंस शीट. बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम यह है कि ह्यूमन बींग्स का वैल्यू कैसे दिखाए. अगर उसको जो सैलरी पे कर रहे हैं वो तो एक्सपेंडिचर है, वो तो अपने प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट में वी आर रिकॉर्डिंग एज एन एक्सपेंस टू जनरेट इनकम. अब ह्यूमन बींग्स को एसेट्स कैसे दिखा दे अपने, प्रॉब्लम ये है. दुनिया ने बहुत बार बहुत सोचा है, इवन यूएस अकाउंटिंग, यूएस गैप ब्रॉट सो मेनी प्रिंसिपल्स एंड ऑल दैट, लेटर ऑन दे सरेंडर्ड. दे सेड यार ये नहीं रिकॉर्ड हो सकता. क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट इन अकाउंटिंग कॉल्ड मनी मेजरमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट. You will be recording the transactions in the books which can be measured in monetary terms. Which cannot be measured in monetary term, you cannot give a value. How you will record it in the books of accounts? मान लीजिए किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का गुडविल का वैल्यू बढ़ गया, किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का प्रोडक्ट ज्यादा बिकने लगा, एंड द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टेक्निकल नो हाउ वैल्यू गॉन अप. You can't record this. Some organization brand और goodwill has deteriorated. The organization का प्रोडक्ट कम बिक रहा है, उसका ब्रांड खराब हो गया, you can't record it. So इसीलिए दुनिया में एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट चालू हुआ है. I don't know whether you have heard or not. Environmental accounting. सुना है आपने?
Yes sir, सुना है.
ये जो environmental accounting है, ये धीरे धीरे बहुत जोर पकड़ रहा है. पहले इन्वायरमेंटल अकाउंटिंग के लिए देयर वाज इंटीग्रेटेड रिपोर्टिंग काउंसिल फॉर्म्ड इन 2010 और 11, आई डोंट रिमेंबर. बट अभी 2021 में कोरोना के बाद यूएन नेशनल ने जिम्मा लिया है कि इन्वायरमेंटल अकाउंटिंग को फॉलो किया जाए. आज सो मच नेचुरल कैलामिटीज, कहीं पर मोर माने यू कैन से फ्लड, कहीं पर देयर इज हाई Summer, huge summer temperature, कहीं पर low, this, that, all these is affecting environment. And this is man-made error. हम लोग जो भी तोड़ फाड़ करते हैं, ऐसा करते हैं, और उससे हम लोग पूरा environment को बर्बाद कर देते हैं. We don't think about future generation after 10 years, 20 years क्या होएगा. और आजकल तो 10-20 नहीं, फटाफट प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है. So UN National has taken responsibility, whose members is India also, कि सारा वर्ल्ड को ये इन्वायरमेंटल अकाउंटिंग फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. वो अभी पूरा आया नहीं है, वो IFRS के अंदर मिक्स कर दिया जाएगा कि इट्स नॉट दैट यू आर हैविंग मनी एंड यू आर परचेजिंग रिसोर्सेस, यूजिंग देम, डूइंग बिजनेस, but you are not protecting the environment, the air, the water, or I will say that recycling, thinking about employees, staff, society, community. आपको इसके बारे में सोचना होगा, करना होगा, अकाउंटिंग करना होगा. रूल्स वगैरह बहुत स्ट्रिंजेंट आने वाले हैं, बहुत रूल्स. अभी तो उतना है ही नहीं, और 2 साल हो गया वो प्रोजेक्ट को चालू हुए. 2021-23 is running. Already 2 years is over. We want to say that when the environment accounting will be there will be so many changes in the IFRS and accounting norms. अभी तो जो environment accounting कुछ भी थोड़ा मोड़ा है, CSR activity which I am saying, that is there in the company law in India. Suppose any employee generating salary more than 50 lakh, उसका detail आपका financial statements में रहेगा, annexure के रूप में. Whatever the energy resources you are using per unit, how much energy you are consuming, details रहेगा. वो सब तो law wise डाल दिया गया. लेकिन ये environmental accounting बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा बन गया है. This is going into totally different level. I mean to say that when the environmental accounting will be accounted for, how they will be saying, what will be the principles, how much India will be accepting, bound to accept, that will make a sea change in the accounting. It is a money measurement concept, but how you can measure, how can you record that need to be analyzed. तो since director का death को हम लोग मजी में measure, maybe वो director के बगैर कंपनी में कुछ नहीं होना है. Without that director, nothing can happen. But still we can't record it. There should be some way we need to report to our investors, to our shareholders, to our suppliers, कि this has happened. This has created this problem. ये environmental accounting में ये सब आ जाएंगे. कैसे क्या आएगा? I even don't know. I always do research on this because I have an interest in environmental accounting more than normal financial accounting. कि इसके बारे में क्या क्या होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए. I always say in my classes कि suppose I am taking the class now. There is 2-3 lights need to be run. But once the class is over, इतना light का जरूरत नहीं है. Suppose I am having food in my plate. जितना खाना है उतना ही plate में लेना है. If I am wasting food, we are attending any marriage function, taking so many items and eating 2-3 items, balance we are throwing. That means we are not environmental concerned. आपके घर में लाइट्स आप पैसा दे देंगे, लेकिन लाइट्स आप जला रहे हैं, वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, वो खराब हो रहा है इन्वायरमेंट. वेस्टेज ऑफ एनीथिंग, ये सबके मन के अंदर से आना होगा. इट कैनॉट बी, आई मीन टू से, maybe the UN National is going to develop the environmental accounting norms which need to be followed by corporates. But एक individual आदमी के दिल में भी तो ये होना चाहिए ना. हर चीज को वैल्यूएशन नहीं कर सकते. Those things which cannot be valued in monetary terms, they are not recorded in the books of accounts. There are many things जिनका वैल्यूएशन नहीं हो सकता, उनको रिकॉर्ड नहीं. ह्यूमन बींग्स, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स एसेट्स, डायरेक्टर का डेथ, देयर इज सम प्रमोशन ऑफ योर बिजनेस और समथिंग जिसका कुछ वैल्यू नहीं है, आप नहीं लिख सकते. यू कांट रिकॉर्ड इट. एक होता है अकाउंटिंग के अंदर प्रूडेंस कॉन्सेप्ट. प्रूडेंस कॉन्सेप्ट मीन्स मिनिमाइज, और आई विल से नॉट डू ओवर वैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लाइबिलिटी and overvaluation of assets and income, undervaluation of expenditures and liability. Why we want to show overvaluation of assets and income? To show a rosy picture, to show a better picture. Bogus sale, bogus revenue, bogus assets which are not assets, or undervaluation of liability. There is a liability, not recording it in the books. Lease is that part only. Lease is recorded as a liability since last 15-20 years. Earlier it was not there. होता ही नहीं था. Jabki the entire subprime crisis was because of the leasing only. The Enron crisis in US was because of the leasing only. So leasing, any liability which you are not recording properly, you are showing a rosy picture, but that is not there. That is means you are violating the prudence principle. Record the assets conservatively. Record the liability and expenses properly. Conservative principle or prudent principle means if there is going to be an income or assets, think 5 times. Become more sure while recording assets and income. But if there is expenditure or a liability, record it fatafat. Don't delay. Because you need to be prudent in your approach in recording the transactions. So बचपन से हम लोग पढ़ते आ रहे होंगे कंजर्वेटिव प्रिंसिपल. कंजर्वेटिव मतलब मैं एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं. Suppose an organization is selling goods. And while selling goods, they are giving warranty for 2 years. If there is any problem in 2 years, they will replace, they will give the money. Now, whether there will be a warranty claim from the customers, nobody knows. But if there will be a claim, company is bound to meet up. There will be expenditures by the company. The company need to record the estimation of warranty as an expense, as a liability. But suppose there is a court case going on. You may win the case. You will win, then you will be getting money. But you can't record the money which you will be getting by winning the case in the PL account and balance sheet. You can't. Because that is violating the prudence principle. That is violating the conservative principle. When we will be studying so many accounting principles and standards, everywhere this prudence and conservative principle will be going. While recording incomes, more sure, more clarity, more surety. But while recording expenses or liability, like this, conservative principle, avoid overvaluation of assets or income and undervaluation of liability and expenses. Then we can say separate entity is normal. Going concern concept. Going concern means when I am running Saraf Academy, I am going to run Saraf Academy for my whole life. So when I am preparing March 2023 PL account balance sheet for Saraf Academy, in the balance sheet I am recording assets at historical cost or revalued figure. Historical cost because I am not doing revaluation. If I want to do, I can do revaluation as I said earlier. But if suppose I want to close Saraf Academy, I am not going to run the show. I am not going to run the business. Suppose I want to close the business. Then the assets will be recorded at NRV. Somebody was asking NRV, net realizable value. Why? You will say how you will calculate? Exact I don't know. But I will say that this is a computer 4 years old. Somebody can take this for 5,000, 6,000. Mota moti hum sab NRV दिखाएंगे. Because now the business is going to close. So now all the assets are current assets, no non-current. Property, plant, equipment, everything is a current assets. So when the going concern principle is no longer valid, you will be recording all the assets as a current assets, no current, no non-current. All the liability as a current liability, no non-current. But always when we prepare books of accounts, we assume going concern is valid. The business is not going to stop. If going concern is no longer valid, then the financial statements are prepared on realizable value basis. Going concern, the classification of non-current current because of the going concern. If there is no going concern, there is no non-current current separately. Then there is a concept called accrual principle, accrual concept. Accounts need to be prepared, income and expenditures need to be recorded when they relate to the period. Whether it is paid or not, whether it is received or not, doesn't matter. If I am giving classes to a student, he paid 50%, he will pay 50% after 10 days. I will record the entire tuition fees and an income. I will record the money receivable as a receivable. Accounts need to be prepared on accrual principle. These are basic fundamental principles. Basic fundamental principles are accrual concept and going concern. And other many measurement, then prudence, conservative, all these are general principles. In that there are बच्चा लोग वाला separate entity, the business and the businessman are different, that's normal. You will say ये सब कहां से आया? In the accounting at IFRS, Ind AS, at global accounting level also, there is a concept called conceptual framework and regulatory framework. I don't teach this conceptual and regulatory framework in the beginning. Reason being that अभी मैं बोलूंगा कुछ तो मेरे को बहुत अंदर जाना पड़ेगा और that thing I have not yet explained. So I will be doing the conceptual framework and regulatory framework at the end. The questions are there in the exam. But I'm just brushing up the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework. What is framework? Boundary. Daira. Any IAS, IFRS which we will be studying in our coming 3.5 months, 4 months classes. All IAS, IFRS are developed based on the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework explain what is an asset, what is a liability, what is an income, what is an expense, why the conceptual framework has developed, and based on the conceptual framework, different IAS, IFRS has been developed. The regulatory framework says that who will develop this? Who will be given the authority to develop IFRS new norms, how they will be coming in the public domain, when they will be applicable, what is the process for this? Regulatory framework. These are, you can say, for accounting standards, for developing accounts or standards, they are Bible, they are Gita, they are Quran. आप कोई भी चीज का डिसीजन लेंगे तो गीता, कुरान, बाइबल को देखकर ही लेंगे ना. वो भाई सब कुछ है, वो सार है. सो अकाउंट्स का बाइबल इज कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क एंड रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क. बट टू अंडरस्टैंड कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क एंड रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क यू नीड टू नो द इंटायर IAS, IFRS. If I will teach now, it will take 5 classes, then also you will not understand. But if I will teach at the end, I can teach it half an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Why? Because all the topics I have discussed, I can correlate those examples with the conceptual framework. But मैं अभी क्या समझाना चाह रहा हूं? जितना भी accounting norms, regulations, rules are there, they are based on the conceptual framework. They are based on the definition of assets, liabilities, income, expenditure given by the accounting body, given by the International Accounting Standard Board, IASB. उन्होंने जो भी डिफिनेशन लिखा हो, व्हाट इज एन एसेट, मैंने शुरू में बोला, एसेट का मतलब जिसको बिजनेस में यूज करके बिजनेस करेंगे, जिससे वी विल बी अर्निंग. देयर आर 2 टाइप्स ऑफ करंट, नॉन करंट एसेट्स. दैट मीन्स एसेट्स मीन्स दोज थिंग्स ऑन विच यू हैव कंट्रोल. By using that assets, you will be generating economic benefit, income for the organization. Liability, against which you have the obligation. You need to give your assets, you need to pay something, you need to give your obligation against to meet the liability. Expenditure, decrease in assets. Expenditure, decrease in assets, increase in liability. Decrease in assets, increase in liability is expenditure. Depreciation, expenditure. Provision for warranty, we need to pay the warranty money, that is a liability. Increase in liability, expenditure. Income, increase in assets, decrease in liability. I am selling goods on credit, receivable, that's an income. Increase in assets, decrease in liability is an income. And what is equity? Assets minus liability is equity. Total assets minus outside liability. Liability means non-current, current. Balance is called equity. They have defined that. Based on that, the IAS 1, IAS 2, all accounting standard has been developed. And why these conceptual framework are there? To fulfill the needs of the users. Whether it's a shareholder, existing, potential, whether it's a loan providers, debt providers, whether it's a suppliers, customers, or anybody. कम्युनिटी, एम्प्लॉइज, एवरीबडी, सब लोगों को अकाउंट से अपना पर्पस फुलफिल करना है. एवरीबडी नीड टू फुलफिल देयर पर्पस. टू फुलफिल दैट पर्पस, द अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड एवरीथिंग हैज बीन डेवलप्ड बेस्ड ऑन द कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क. मैंने यहां पर ये कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क थोड़ा सा एकदम what I am teaching in the base level classes, those who are 10 pass out, 12 pass out, मैंने यहां पर ये कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क लिख के दिया है. आप कुछ समझे नहीं समझे एक बार. अच्छा, दिस वन क्वेश्चन आई हैव जस्ट, सिंस फॉर्मेट इज गिवन, तो फॉर्मेट के बेसिस पे फिगर के साथ यू कैनॉट अंडरस्टैंड फुल्ली, बट जस्ट हैव सॉल्व्ड वन क्वेश्चन. एंड देन कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क, all the concepts and principles I have written, different types of organization, क्या है, very very small, assets का definition, liability definition, just once go through. आपको अभी समझ में आए नहीं आए उससे मतलब नहीं, no concern, because समझ में slowly and steady, once we complete one by one topic, then you will be able to understand conceptual concepts automatically, conceptual framework and regulatory framework. Regulatory framework takes 5 to 10 minutes to teach. Conceptual framework takes 30 to 40 minutes to teach. But at the end, not now. But just basic concepts I have written with some examples which I write in the 10-12 class batch, because they are studying accounts for the first time. They need to have some basic understanding. तो वो मैंने यहां कवर किया है. Go through with this once. यानी कि अभी नेक्स्ट क्लास के लिए मेरा होमवर्क आपके लिए क्या है? एज आई सेड इन दी एट दैट टाइम, प्लीज प्रैक्टिस preparing format of financial statement and read conceptual framework. कोई आपको बुक्स नहीं खोलना है. मटेरियल आई विल बी गिविंग टू ऑल अगेन एज आई सेड, बट माई एडवाइस, डोंट ओपन. You will open when let me start. Let me say how we will be studying. I am explaining something, then I am opening some book, I am doing some questions, then you get a flair. Then you get a feeling कि ऐसे बुक्स को यूज करना है. उसका पेज देखकर डरना नहीं है. Either if you are in a very hurry, you can go in YouTube, Prakash Saraf official YouTube channel. You can open any non-current asset video. What I am teaching, how I am using the material, you will understand. But मेरे हिसाब से इतना जल्दीबाजी करके जरूरत है, बहुत कुछ है पढ़ने के लिए. आप इसके बारे में जब आप कॉन्सेप्ट्स वगैरह पढ़ रहे हैं, कुछ आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, आप डाउट रेज करेंगे. दिस इज होमवर्क. In every class, I will be saying the homework like this, what you need to study before the next class. So, this is whatever I have discussed, they are not a topic. They are grooming up, warming up, practice session. That का accounts पढ़ने के लिए basic जानकारी पहले होना जरूरी है. जब basic understanding develop होगा, then you can start studying accounts. So this is just a basic class. The structure of our classes, video, recording, notes, material, all these things को मैं cover करना चाह रहा था. पेपर क्वेश्चन पैटर्न कैसे आता है एग्जाम में, कैसे आंसर लिखना है, कब फॉर्म भरना है, घर से देना एग्जाम, बाहर से देना है, और बेसिक अकाउंटिंग है क्या, फॉर्मेट क्या है उसका, वो मेरा पर्पस था कवर करना. बस इतना ही पढ़ते हैं हम लोग फर्स्ट क्लास. नेक्स्ट क्लास से वी विल स्टार्ट विथ अ पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक एज पर द शेड्यूल विच इज share based payments. We will be starting. That is the first topic. This is not the topic. This is all the basic discussion relating to accounting. Okay? अगर किसी को कुछ बोलना है, anything anybody wants to say, निगम जी और अमित और अंजलि और अनूप, anybody. Anybody want to say anything? हेलो, बोलिए भाई.
सर कुछ कहना नहीं, बस प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. कोई डाउट होगा तो होगा.
1000 बार डाउट होगा तो पूछेंगे. अच्छा, कैन यू डू ऑल, कैन यू स्विच ऑन योर वीडियो ऑल, कैन यू ऑल स्विच ऑन योर वीडियो जस्ट फॉर यू कैन से फ्यू मिनट, 1 or 2 minutes एवरीबडी. कभी हमें देखता नहीं, ये पहला बार कर रहा हूं. Everybody switch on your video so that at least you can recognize किसका क्या नाम है. You can understand when you will be, you can say communicating to that student or anybody. Then in that case आप थोड़ा बात better कर पाओगे. Others? Divya, Sajin, Pranavi, Sonam, Suman, Sajik, Anjali, Mr. Azad, Monica, Lokesh. You also can take a photo because then later on you can recognize हम किससे क्या बात कर रहे हैं मेरे ख्याल से. That will be helpful for all of you. I am also taking a photo. All the very best. I am just saying that कि I am always available. आपको ये नहीं सोचना है सर तो अभी है नहीं. I am always at your service. In my organization 24 hours. Just that when I am sleeping, that's all. Otherwise, I am always there for any query. You can connect with me anytime. You can mail, you can WhatsApp, you can call. If I am not picking the call, I will be there in due course of time. मेरा जवाब हर चीज के ऊपर आएगा. Any issue you are facing in understanding any subject, any query, anything, I am there for you. Okay? So let's all the best to all of us, and we will all proceed in life and grow in life. Okay? Thank you. Tada.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.